This is a transvestigation on Emma Watson, and first I'm going to read Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And if you're looking for something really cool to read from the Old Testament, Isaiah will not disappoint. And this, Isaiah is talking about the MO, how satanic people operate is by flipping things. And it's almost like if they flip everything, the people get deceived and they can't see reality for what it is because they've been brought up in this system where bad things are portrayed as being good, or masculine things are being portrayed as feminine. So let's get into the video. Emma Watson. I was just having nostalgic ideas about transvestigation. Who remembers that there was a transvestigator that they made some kind of interesting videos, but they talked a lot about Emma Watson, and they said it like that. And it also reminds me, there's this other transvestigation channel. This lady would put on like tons of makeup, and she would like print out the images on computer paper and like hold them up and talk about them. Does anyone remember these old channels? They're probably gone for, ages by now, but there could be a transvestigation revival. This is low-hanging conspiracy fruit, and the only reason that there's not a million channels out there is because there's a million people in on this deception. And 99 times out of 100, the times that people are exposing this, it's one of them. The reason that they can expose this is because it's one of them. And they'll try to mix in their own disinfo, or they seem like plants, like John Humanity or something. Who knows? But this is one of those things like NASA being fake, flat Earth. It just should be, it's almost a litmus test for, am I dealing with somebody that is a truth seeker and can admit reality? Transvestigation is amazing for that, because there's all sorts of club members out there that they will go to the grave denying this obvious fact, and they will have endless excuses for the switch skeletons on the world stage and in your day-to-day life. So let's get into the transvestigation. This is something that just a commenter one time mentioned this, and ever since then I've seen it everywhere. And not enough transvestigation channels focus on the signs and the symbols, and especially hand signs are something that's always disturbed me. Like at high school, our high school would do, they would say V for victory, but really that's the Baphomet holding up the two fingers. And the other classic hand signs for schools are devil horns, and these people are all over your day-to-day lives that speak with their hands. And the triad claw, you see it constantly. These people are childish, and man, they must feel so stupid, but I don't know, they have a lot of self-importance too. So look at the hand. See how, and what do you know, this is a character who's like known for playing a witch, holding, really it's a warlock, holding his hand exactly like you would if you had a magic wand. So thank you to, that was just a random commenter that said they hold their hand like they have a magic wand in it, but they don't. There's just nothing in their hand. And man, ever since I read that comment, I see that everywhere. It is so common. But yes, this is a typical male skeleton. They pop them up on estrogen and they eat pint after pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, and this is as soft as they can get. But this is a male bone structure in the face, square jaw, large jaw, low ear, cheekbones for days popping out. They're always talking about their cheekbones. It's because men have facial skeleton that pops, and when you doll them up, it's striking. And those are also, you can see the brow bone and the straight eyebrow, but a lot of this stuff is superficial. Like, a lot of times you'll see they give their eyebrow a crazy curve, because women do have naturally curvy eyebrows and men have more naturally straight eyebrows. But things like eyebrow, you can manicure that. They change the way that they walk. Just the lower jaw region, so masculine. and low ears. You can see that the ears are low and attached, like angled back. That is very masculine. Long neck, square shoulders, large collarbones, even though you can tell this one has got as fat as it possibly can. Very wide elbow joints is masculine. Can we see the kneecaps? We'll see it later. Crossing the legs. And this is something that you'll notice. Have you noticed that it's like it's mandated? It's like it's mandated that they have to show off their obvious inverted features sometimes. Okay, Emma, it's time for the shot where you really show off your man neck. And the square jaw. And yes, that is a man's neck. You can see how broad the shoulders are. They love to have their hair dangling over their shoulder because it obscures the fact that their shoulders are so large. And yeah, you could see that trying to put on some softness, because women will have that softness in their armpit, you know, but even with getting as chunky as he can, this is just straight up and down torso. I wish I could just zoom in on just the left side, but if you focus in on just the left side, that is like everything is up and down as straight as a ruler there. So it's a man in a dress. No subcutaneous fat layer on the hands whatsoever. Large square kneecaps. Huge hand. And this was funny, when I still had Facebook and I was going back through all the friends on my Facebook and looking through their pictures and seeing that they're doing the hand signs and pretending to be subtle about it. And they're not always subtle about it. And my family does the hand signs too, and just in life moments, they literally, that's like part of their language, is to use their hands to convey whatever. I'm not one of them, I don't know. Maybe someday one of them will explain it all. It doesn't really interest me that much, because you've known many of these people and they're not special. A lot of times they're really messed up and stupid. So there's no way that they're doing anything that is like super interesting and, oh man, you guys are so smart and cool. It's got to be just really basic and stupid for the most part. Anyways, look at this massive hand. This reminds me, to finish my thought about Facebook, when I was going through looking at all people's hand signs, I remember this old person from my high school. I mean, they went back to my elementary school, really. All of my schools, they were in all of my schools. And she had a picture, and there was somebody who commented, "Your hand is huge." And yeah, because her hand was enormous, like this. And it was kind of funny, like, oh, you see, but her response to that was just nothing, to ignore it. That's always one way. I mean, that's the classy way. A lot of times these people screech, like, how dare you, that kind of stuff. They'd freak out, flip out. The really well-trained ones know to just ignore stuff like that. You just completely ignore it. But that is a massive hand and a male skull. Who, compared to the bodyguard's got the oval head. And Emma Watson has the square head. Those kneecaps could kill. And they doll them up, they put them in makeup, they look striking, but it's just male bone structure. And that's what this whole transvestigation thing is at the end of the day. It's realizing that the world promotes only men as beautiful women on the world stage, or actresses, or anything. And so government, anything on the TV land, TV is a big gaslighting device. And if you're on the TV, women have to be portrayed a certain way: skinny, screechy, domineering, powerful. Men have to be portrayed a certain way: fat, lazy, emotional. And you see, it's all backwards. And it's going back to that Isaiah thing. This world, the people who have power on earth are satanic in nature, and they flip everything. It's like their religion, you might say. Looking Julia Roberts-esque in this one. Very, very low ears. Can you see how the ears attach so low on the head? That's very masculine. And you can see the neck here, even though it's in a shadow. But these people are everywhere. Not just famous people. Fashion is all about hiding this stuff. See, even this, like, there's so much you can say about how they use fashion, they change their posture to try to blend in. A lot of people noticed in the Transvestigation community, in the comments, so many obviously inverted people, and it's like they really liked watching the Transvestigation channels because it would teach them things about, oh, okay, I gotta walk this certain way. Oh, I need to make my body proportions look this certain way. Like, they were fishing for information, because at the end of the day, I think this BAFO system is almost entirely run behind closed doors, and it's all about who you know, what you're told, and it's kind of a free-for-all, I believe. And so a lot of them are looking for information. Anyways, do you see how that black line, it's supposed to, like, create the illusion? Have you noticed that fashion is all about creating some sort of illusion? Create the illusion of a waistline where you just have a dude, and it tries to make the torso look shorter, and because those are feminine things, to actually have a waist, and to have a short torso is feminine. But this is a dude. Emma Watson addresses her extended break from acting because they get busted. The MTF, they get dropped like a hot potato because they man up. Men have a second puberty in their late 20s, early 30s. Men have a second puberty and they man up even further. You notice they get older and older, they just get skinnier and skinnier. Those are masculine qualities, to have very low body fat and to have trouble gaining weight. Got the bony upper chest, poking out collarbones. If this doesn't look like a creature of the night, man, the bangs are not helping you on this one. Emma Watson. Covering up the neck, trying to dazzle people. Those are some dangly monkey arms that hang straight down. Women's arms naturally angle away from the body, and you'll see all sorts of men, and this is the part of Transvestigation. Every channel should eventually get to this point. Where are the men in public that have bone structures like these creatures? Where are all the men that have large square shoulders that fall straight down, very large joints, long lean torsos, short legs in proportion? Where are these types of men? They're incredibly rare. And this actually, I was talking about the Emma Watson transvestigator, who I don't even know if they make videos anymore, but she was always talking about spine. And that's one of those things that it is a very good indicator, but these people change their posture crazily. They understand human anatomy, and if they're a free Martin or they're an FTM, they know, keep your back very straight. You know how what's the Mark Zuckerberg has very odd posture, and you can go look up things where Zuckerberg talks about posture tricks, like imagine that there's a string on your chest being pulled up, and because that engages your chest and keeps your shoulders straight across. I see all sorts of Martins that their shoulders look like painfully horizontal, like literally like you could put a level on them. It's like they've been trained to hold their shoulders up their entire life. And I guess they just get used to that at a certain point. To me, it looks uncomfortable. Because even though, yes, men are supposed to have rectangular shoulders, they're not supposed to be like straight across like a ruler. I mean, this one, though, you could see that she doesn't look like they're shrugging their shoulders, whereas you see some people in real life. It's like, are you constantly shrugging? Anyways, the spine thing, just yesterday, an acquaintance of mine, a regular guy, I'm sure has male anatomy, literally has a female spine. You can see the short torso with the curved spine and the female skeleton. But this is a man, so, or was born with male genitals. Free Martins are everywhere. When you learn the difference between male anatomy and female anatomy, you'll notice that most guys outside do not have this type of bone structure. They have a woman's bone structure, arms that angle away from the body naturally with short humerus bones. So, I mean, that's the end game of transvestigation, is applying what you learn about male anatomy, female anatomy, and then just opening your eyes outdoors and seeing, oh, maybe this is why I didn't notice it, because I've been surrounded by my whole life. I have an aunt who just has a man skeleton. All of my uncles look pregnant, and they have slopey little shoulders. Oh man. So that's eventually where you go. And I mean, it really is limitless. There's more than that. Then you start to notice, well, okay, who's abusing hormones? Who's abusing plastic surgery? And I'll just leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed this transvestigation on Emma Watson. Leave a comment to any transvestigation channels you know about. I think that this is such low-hanging fruit, and yeah, any alleged truther channel out there that won't touch this topic, that is sus. So suspicious if anyone out there denies this kind of thing. And you'll always hear that in the comments, like, oh yeah, this channel, this truther channel, I was talking to them about the inverts and they just deny it to the grave. Yeah, that's a red flag. They're in the club. They're everywhere. God bless everyone.